when like making hiring mistakes for the startup, it is like crucial. I would say that I'm a believer. Never working on the weekends, like never. I need my sleep. If you want to work, you have to leave the bedroom now. That's karma thing. This pet project always stays a pet project, but you can play safe at the beginning for sure.
Hi everyone, this is Lana from the Top Voices, and today we are going to answer some questions from the internet. Today our guest is Alexandra Baptizmanskaya, co-founder of Co-Actors, Agile coach, and Gestalt therapist that helps team to navigate change and build strong partnerships. Alexandra, what is the biggest challenge in scaling a startup?
I would say that the biggest challenge in scaling a startup for me is actually hiring. And I was kind of surprised to discover that myself because I always thought like, what can be easier than just finding like inspired, responsible people and like having a good product. But actually, what I found out is that like hiring skilled professionals in this like uncertainty of the startup environment is kind of a challenge. At the same time, when like making hiring mistakes for the startup, it is like crucial. It can really like damage and slow up everything when you hire like the people that are either like not a fit, not a cultural fit, or are not skilled to invest like and to work in this startup. I really think that this is like the biggest challenge, and also the most important thing to do is to have this core team of great like employees or great specialists, and then to like scale on this like on the structure of great like leaders, managers, or whatever. So yeah, hiring, I would say.
So switching from hiring to marketing, next question is that you have startup and 0 followers. How are you getting traffic?
I have my own approach of how I attract customers, attract like followers. It might not work for everyone, but it truly works for me. So it worked for me several times in a row. I'm very good at content creation, and it doesn't matter whether these are um, conference talks, like me speaking, giving talks at a conference, or me writing articles, or I don't know, going as a founder, as a specialist to some podcasts. Anyway, like creating any content works for me. It doesn't work that fast, so you would have to like do that to for brand awareness for quite some time. Maybe create like a blog, which I did, and post regularly. Something that is very shareable, like how I built my business. We have a blog, and we write like useful articles on teamwork. And what happens is like a person, like a manager, reads a very useful article, and what he or she does, they immediately like send it to all of their fellow like managers and friends who might also be interested in a specific like activity or like a format of doing a retrospective. So I would say like the key here is to create pieces of content that would be really like shareable and that might go viral. And this is how I attract my audience. And if you like writing, like you as a listener of this thing, you like writing or speaking, I think this is really a way to go, because this creating content or speaking is a way to make the connection between you and your future customers or followers. And it might not give you immediate sales, but it would create these relationships with the potential customers, their companies, and that definitely works for me. And I think it is like a cheap way to attract the audience, much cheaper than a lot of the paid ones.
The next question is what is the most valuable skill you should have as a founder?
I'm not sure this is also like an advice for everyone, but I surely know what my most valuable skill is. And it's even not a skill, but like an attitude, I would say. I would say that I'm a believer. Like I'm a great believer in the company that I do. And it's not like about blind optimism that I'm always like positive and everything is gonna be okay. Not like this. But in times when things get complicated, in times when we face changes or we have difficulties in hiring or something is not going that well, I am believing enough so that my team, the audience, the customers, they they can feel this strength of my belief and how I stand for what we're doing, and it helps the team and the audience and the customers to go through these changing things in the world, to go through crisis, as they just experience our like partnership and our relationships as something stable, something they can rely on. And I do believe that if you are the only founder in your company, you have to be a believer. In my case, we are two founders, and I am very good at believing. And my other co-founder, she is really good at actually moving the business forward. So she's very good with economics and seeing options, project management. She's very good with numbers. I'm not. But whenever like we face any difficulties, I would be the person who would say like, it's gonna be okay. Like we're gonna go through it. We've had situations like this before. Let's just think what we can do. Let's sit together and decide. It's gonna be fine. Like it's gonna be struggling. It might be struggling. We might be struggling now, but we would surely like win this one.
As a founder, how many hours do you sleep each day?
I had kind of a journey with that because I started my own like my business while still like a little bit working with as an in-house specialist, and then I switched quite quickly. I switched to just working like on my own as a freelance and then doing a business. And when you exit the company as an employee, you I was kind of feeling nervous, like whether I would earn enough, am I confident in what I'm doing? And all of those ones who are starting their own business, startup, whatever, they, I think, feel that. That is why they try to grab every opportunity they have. So I was doing like lots of things. I was working as an expert. I was like trying to do marketing, writing content, and also as I am like a therapist, I was having some therapy sessions with my clients and stuff. So I had to prioritize some of the things and to deprioritize the others. And I was doing that, but I was still trying to do as much as possible. And that was not a good thing to do. I mean, that was making me less efficient. And after doing it for 2 years, I think, I just made a promise to myself that I am one, never working on the weekends, like never. Whatever happens, like, no, I'm not working on the weekends. No, not even a single therapy session. Mm-mm. No, not anymore. Like, not anymore. And the second time is that I'm having like my 7 8 hours sleep minimum, because I started feeling how important that is. I just have like an app on the Apple Watch and it tracks how I sleep. Maybe not the most, precise one, but I still like trust it to some extent. And I can see the correlation between how many hours actually of quality sleep I have and then how my next day would be. And I think when I sleep less than 7, that makes me a real irritated, sad, tired person. So I try to get at least 7. And sometimes it needs a bit of like conflict because my husband, he's really into working or chatting at night. So he would like sit on the bed with his like laptop, and he would tell me some interesting facts about what he just saw or seen on like what is happening on his company where he works. And I would be like, it takes me a lot of like courage and everything to just tell him, no, not today. I need my sleep. Like if you want to work, you have to leave the bedroom now. Take your laptop and go to the living room. Sorry, unfortunately, you cannot work here. I'm sleeping here. I need this sleep. And it's been 6 years. I'm doing my own stuff, and I think we're still struggling with this part. Like, still, most of the days I had to have to ask him leave to give me the sleep. But the key thing here is that you have to fight for it, I think, for the weekends and for the 8 hours of sleep.
Alexandra, what inspired you to start your business?
I've chosen this question, and I just like it. I mean, I like listening to what inspires other people, and I like thinking about what my inspiration was. I think that what inspired me to start doing my own thing is actually like people, the customers asking for help. So how that happened when working as an in-house coach and as an agile coach, I was doing quite a lot of stuff that somehow promoted my personal brand. So I was speaking at conferences, I was doing workshops at some meetups, I was organizing meetups, and at some moment of time, some nice like directors, CEOs, and managers, they started coming to me at these meetups and like whispering in my ear, like, Alex, I heard you speaking about this like this practice. Maybe you can come to my company and introduce us to like our environment. Maybe you can coach our developers just a little bit. And I'm an honest person. Like I hardly ever agreed on that because that would take quite a lot of my time. And I already have like an employer. It used to be like an offline work, so I basically went to office every day. But they were like quite seductive, all those managers and company leaders. And they were telling me, okay, so if you ever decide to quit, like take my number, I will be waiting. And when I experienced a burnout at the company I was working in, and when I was like sitting there thinking, like, what should I do with like my life? Should I like I took like a 3 months break to just think about what I want. Whether I wanted to enter some other company or maybe change my job a little bit, like I was coaching, I might go, I don't know, become a trainer. I just I just remembered those words, those like seductive phone numbers and cards they were putting in my hands, and I decided to try. So I think what inspired me to start my own thing are those like, requests, those connections with the people who were doing like all kinds of different businesses. So there were like some physical businesses and some software ones, creative marketing agencies, and some guys who were doing like gaming stuff or the visual effects. And I was like so interested in going inside and like digging inside their business, seeing what actually are they doing there, that I think that was the reason that I decided to risk and to start working like on my own and then hiring a team.
Great story. Thank you for sharing this. And actually, the last one is, do you think, is it possible to start your startup with a 9 to 5 work?
This one is a difficult one. I think it is surely possible to start your startup when working, but it is like this is impossible for me to grow it. Like if you want to test a hypothesis, like you have an idea and you might develop some MVP of it and test it somehow, sure, you can stay as an in-house specialist just to play it safe. Like we all need the safety, and like people have different situations. Some might have like a partner who earns quite a lot and can give this like comfort zone. Some are like the main money earning people in their family, and they might have dependents like kids or elderly relatives. So I do believe that we should play it safe and maybe test some hypotheses while working as in-house specialist. Maybe try to be like respectful for your employer. Do it in the evenings or during the weekends, or maybe like get up a little bit earlier to do so, not to steal the time from the employer. I really believe that's worth it. It's reputation, that's karma thing. But once you see that there is a response on the market, like that someone wants like to buy, to interact with you, their customers, their followers, I think the only way to grow a company, to really to even not to scale, just to make something working, is to leave a job and invest yourself fully in the new thing you do. Because I can hardly remember any fellow entrepreneurs of mine who would manage to grow a real business when working full time. But I've seen quite a lot of those ones who are working like full time and trying to do a pet project on the side. And this pet project always stays a pet project because they never have focus enough to grow it. They're just not taking a risk, and that's okay. But if you really want to give it a try, I think there should be a moment where I just decide, like, okay, I'm gonna try. I'm gonna invest all my focus, all my time into something of mine, and this is the only way to give it a real try. But you can play safe at the beginning for sure.
That's actually what I would answer if I was asked the same. And actually, at our pitch session that we hosted in London, not our, sorry, our partners, they're from the students community. And most of the teams were students. And the investors came for the pitch session and they denied to every team only because they are not full-time committed. So they had threat project, but they were not full-time committed. So that's why they, unfortunately, they didn't raise, but I think they learned something. So thank you so much for the recording. And our guest today was Alexandra Baptizmanskaya, who is a co-founder of Coactors, Agile coach and Gestalt therapist, and helps team to navigate change and build strong partnerships. So thank you, Alexandra, once again.